Hey everyone, welcome back to Psalm Production. In light of the events going on this week in our city, you can probably hear the police sirens right now in the background. I've decided to have a different conversation today about the book of Psalms and how it can have an effect even as we go through incredibly difficult times like we are today. So please check out this interview with a really dear brother. Hey Sheldon.
Oh, hi there.
During a time of difficulty like we are going through right now, how does the book of Psalms help you? How does the book of Psalms equip you or guide you during times such as this?
Well, thanks for having me. I think just being somebody, I can be an emotional guy. Had enough talks, I'm sure that's not a shocker to you. Where Psalms is ideal just to make my crazy less crazy. Like, oh, okay, cool. I just need to know one other person has felt, frustrated or worked up in the Bible to confirm it.
Our country has gone through some rather just very sad episodes again this past week with George Floyd and that whole situation, and a lot of stuff that has unraveled since that incident last week. I just wanted to ask you, even dealing with that particular tension of this past week, has the Psalms had an effect or a role?
One of the Psalms that stands out to me and has helped me throughout the years has been Psalm 73. And the reason why I bring that one up the reason why I found comfort in it is because it's like a good movie. It's got a turbulent. It's got a nice start, a turbulent middle, and then all of a sudden it turns around. It gives you hope at the end. I feel like that's kind of life. Maybe you get up in the morning and you have a great quiet time, you have a great prayer life, and then all of a sudden you start interacting with the world, start getting hit with life's problems and stuff. It's like, ooh, what does any of that have to do with what's going on currently? I had just celebrated my grandfather's 91st birthday last week, and we were happy. It was the day after Memorial Day, and then I went. I talked to some other brothers later on, and kind of celebrated the idea. And then Wednesday morning, I see this post about what had happened to George Floyd. I'm thinking, oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And it just the lack of humanity there really, really affects me. So. I had to lead a group this week, and I was just kind of thinking, like after church, our group gets together on Zoom. I'm thinking, I got nothing. I don't have anything uplifting to share. So
Right.
I wouldn't be doing anybody any favors by being disgenuine. So I just said, you know what? We're gonna go to my favorite Psalm, Psalm 73. And we're just going to read it together. And whatever stands out to you guys, great. Let's talk about it. We'll just let the Spirit do the teaching and speaking and healing and stuff, all of this. I thought it ended up being a great group. Like, people came in there with heavy hearts. There were tears, but I don't think anybody felt alienated. And it ended up being a really helpful experience.
Wow, I got to tell you, I'm so just proud of listening to that process you just described. I think you exemplified the best leadership, which is, you know what, let's let the Word minister. Let's let the Spirit heal. To me, that is godly leadership. It's connecting people with the source, and you not having that burden of being the source. And it looks like Psalms was a very appropriate, place to be together with a bunch of people. And so that's amazing. In one of our conversations, because, I've asked you, as a white guy, white guys in the church, white guys in society right now, we can be sometimes in a situation where I don't know what to say. Should I say anything? Or if I do say something, will it be wrong? Or, so I wanted to ask for you last week, what was the most helpful?
I do find therapy and healing, being able to talk to other African American people. But something that kind of struck me was I was talking to a Caucasian sister. So this sister, I was kind of lighthearted and talking to her, and so she said, "No, how's it going?" It's like, "I'm not okay. So how are you?" And I realized, oh, okay, I can have this dialogue.
Right.
Well, and then I just kind of expressed various feelings, fears, frustrations that I was having in the midst of it. And after she had spent time listening to what I was feeling, she asked me, "What do you want me to hear? What would you want me to say to somebody that looks like me, and what would you want them to know?" And it was a very empowering question. Wow, I didn't think about that. Make sense of that. I just made it a point to just start checking in with a lot more people that don't necessarily look like me, just to be able to have that dialogue of, "Hey, guys, check in on your Black friends."
Got it.
Whether they're going through a gamut of emotions or they haven't processed them or not, I think it'll pay dividends for your relationship if you at least made that gesture of just opening up the conversation with, "I'm not okay with what I saw. It's it makes me disgusted or angry," or whatever it is that you're feeling.
Yeah.
How are you? And just to open up that bit of dialogue there isn't to presume anything. It's merely to share, "Hey, here's what's going on in the world. Here's how I feel about it. How do you feel about it?" And to give them that apparatus to be able to speak, I really feel like would convey volumes of how much you care about them as a person. And also speak to your character of, "Hey, I can acknowledge the elephant in the room."
I mean, you're asking for a very brave thing, because you're talking about, am I willing to go to a place of vulnerability with my friend? Am I willing to go and ask that question?
Yeah.
How are you? And then just be okay to listen.
Verse 1 says, "Surely God is good to Israel, those who are pure in heart." And I think, hey, God is good. He takes care of his people. And you're in much better standings when you go by his word and stuff. Pure in heart, following his commands, being obedient to him, speaking his love language. Then verse 2, it sharply changes. "But as for me, my feet had almost slipped. I nearly lost my foothold." Verse 3, "For I envied the arrogant when I saw the prosperity of the wicked." Then it gets down to verse 12. "This is what the wicked are like, always carefree. They go on amassing wealth." Like, I am broke, and this person got a raise. How does that work?
Right.
This Bible stuff is not happening. And then I think verse 13, "Surely in vain I have kept my heart pure and have washed my hands in innocence. All day long I've been afflicted. Every morning brings new punishments." And so just kind of tying that into this, I'm not George Floyd. I'm not related to George Floyd. But the fact that somebody that looks like me, that's happened to, but when you continue to see these different things taking place in the news, on social media, it just gets really disheartening.
Yeah.
So, verse 15, "If I had spoken out like that, I would have betrayed your children." when I tried to understand all this, it troubled me deeply. I definitely don't have all of the answers, but I can say that one of the things that has been holding me over was prayer and having conversations with people that not only look like me, but people that don't look like me.
Wow.
And to be able to talk to people that don't look like me and say, hey, I know, I get it. You know, you don't feel like it would be appropriate to speak to this because you think it's a Black issue, but it's a national issue. I'm talking to people and I'm trying to empower them just like the sister did with me and equip them with, hey, it means something. If you really are somebody's friend, your call means something. It might not resonate with them then and there, but you know, it's good.
That's correct.
It's good practice on both ends.
You know, emotional maturity is able to connect to your emotions, yet still move toward good. And spiritual maturity, I think, is being a hold of your emotions, having your emotions, but still, no matter how strong you feel it, you still submit to God's will, which is what I think you are identifying in this psalm. This guy is seeing a horrible narrative go down all around him. But the overall conclusion is, God is God. He is my God. And even verse 17, until I entered the sanctuary of God, then I understood their final destiny.
That's another thing. That verse 17, till I entered the sanctuary of God, then I understood. This world is a fallen world, and it's so easy to take our eyes off the prize.
Well, you have now arrived at the place of the Psalm interview.
Okay.
In your reading of the Psalms, what have you learned about God?
God is not afraid of my feelings. He created this emotional being, and he can handle what I dole out.
Excellent. It's funny, reading the psalm with you today and thinking about what that sister asked you. She said, what do you want me to know?
Yeah.
Right? Or what do you want me to know? I can almost hear God asking the same question prior to the psalm. What do you want me to know?
Yeah.
Okay, second question. In your reading of the Psalms, what have you learned about yourself?
Right. You'll be vulnerable. Great. So, one of the things that I've grown up with hearing about myself is, you're sensitive. David's a great dude. Definitely got his flaws, but great manly man, and he too was sensitive, had a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions. Right. And so when I go to the Psalms and I see all of these different things, just a lot of the Psalms throughout, you get to hear David's heart, and it just gives me hope. Like, hey, my being sensitive does not chip away at my masculinity, which was something I definitely had to wrestle through.
That's huge, man. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for being vulnerable. That's so core, so core. I mean, literally as we speak, I'm hearing helicopters hover over my house, and there is, earlier there was protesting, now there's looting. One of our neighbors told us a car has been set on fire. So my next question is, during a difficult time like we are all going through right now, what does the Psalms require of us?
Great question. Communication with God. If it's not praising, then it's venting. Right. And I think it proves time and time again how much God can actually handle that.
Right.
And I think that these guys and their walks ended up being so much more quality because of the frequency in which they communicated on this level.
Oh, so good, so good. Sheldon, you have more than delivered, my friend.
Oh, great.
Very, very grateful to you, sir.